Round 1 is finished. 48 teams have each played once. And if you walked away from this opening round thinking you understood this World Cup, thinking you knew who is good, who is in trouble, who is going to win it, I have to tell you something. You understood almost nothing. Because round 1 of a World Cup never answers questions. It only asks better ones. So tonight, instead of pretending we know what is coming, let's sit with the 11 questions that round 1 actually left behind. The doubts, the contradictions, the things that make this tournament impossible to look away from. Let's go through them, one at a time. Question 1. Is this finally England's tournament? For 60 years, English football has carried something heavier than any other major football nation. Not a lack of talent, a lack of belief, a quiet certainty repeated across generations that something would always go wrong eventually. On Wednesday in Dallas, England beat Croatia 4-2. This was supposed to be the hardest test of their group. Croatia, the team that ended England's dream in the Moscow semi-final 8 years ago. The team with Luka Modric, 40 years old and somehow still capable of changing a match with a single pass. England did not just win. They scored 4 goals against one of the most experienced tournament teams in the world. Thomas Tuchel's side looked organized, confident, and most strikingly, free. Free of the tension that has strangled English performances at major tournaments for decades. Is this real? Is this the version of England that finally goes all the way? Or is this simply round 1, the version of confidence that disappears the moment the stakes get higher? We do not know yet. But for the first time in a long time, England look like they believe the answer might be yes. Question 2. Is the United States actually dangerous, or did we just want them to be? As co-hosts, every result the United States produces gets magnified by hope, by home advantage, by an entire nation wanting badly to believe. But strip away the noise and look at what actually happened. The USMNT opened their tournament with genuine quality, movement, structure, moments of real threat going forward. This was not a team simply surviving on home support. The question that lingers is whether this is sustainable, whether the USMNT can carry this level of performance through tougher opposition, through the pressure that builds as a host nation advances. Co-host teams have disappointed before. This group looks different. Different enough to matter? We will find out soon. Question 3. What is actually happening to Portugal? We already told you the story of Cristiano Ronaldo's performance against DR Congo in detail. The 0 shots on target, the 10 games without a goal, the manager too afraid to make the obvious decision. But step back from Ronaldo for a moment and look at the team itself. Portugal drew 1-1 with the nation playing its first World Cup match in 52 years. 75% possession. 1 shot on target in the entire match. DR Congo, a team given almost no chance by anyone before kickoff, outplayed one of the pre-tournament favorites for long stretches. This is not just a Ronaldo problem anymore. This is a Portugal problem. A team with extraordinary individual talent that, for 90 minutes in Houston, simply did not function as a team. They have the players to fix this. The question is whether they have the time. Question 4. Which France is going to show up for the rest of this tournament? Against Senegal, we watched 2 completely different teams wearing the same shirt. For the first 45 minutes, France were disjointed. 1 shot. A superstar lineup with nobody organizing it. No pressing structure. Senegal controlled the ball, piled up touches inside France's own box, and made the pre-tournament co-favorites look genuinely uncomfortable. Then Didier Deschamps made a change. He moved Michael Olise into a central role, and everything shifted. Olise assisted Kylian Mbappé. He created 4 chances in a single half. He reminded the entire football world why he has become one of the most dangerous attacking players on the planet. France won 3-1. But the story is not the scoreline. The story is the gap between those 2 halves. The ceiling for this French squad is genuinely frightening. But that opening 45 minutes proved something important. Even this much individual talent is not immune to being out-organized by a smaller, hungrier opponent. Which France shows up against Norway next? Nobody, including France themselves, fully knows yet. Question 5. Can Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams get healthy in time to save Spain? It took something close to a perfect storm for Cape Verde, a nation of 500,000 people, the smallest country by population ever to reach a World Cup, to hold Spain to a goalless draw. An inspired goalkeeping performance, an off night for Spain's strikers, chance after chance that simply would not fall. Spain controlled the midfield exactly as Luis de la Fuente wanted. The problem was the final third, where attack after attack fizzled into harmless passing around the edge of the box. That is precisely where Yamal and Williams become indispensable. Two of the very few players in the world capable of manufacturing an advantage entirely on their own. The kind of individual brilliance that no defensive game plan can coach away. The problem is that both are still working back from injury. Both came off the bench against Cape Verde, and Spain looked alarmingly toothless without them at full strength. They will round into form eventually, but World Cups do not always give you the luxury of time. If Spain's two most explosive players are still chasing full fitness when the elimination rounds arrive, the margin for error shrinks fast. Question 6. Does this Brazil team even have an identity? For most of modern football history, you always knew exactly what Brazil were trying to be. Overwhelming in attack, technically magical, lethal on the counter. This year, after 90 minutes against Morocco, a 1-1 draw, with Morocco's Ismail Saibari producing one of the best individual finishes of the entire opening round, you genuinely cannot tell. Carlo Ancelotti has inherited elite individual talent, but less squad depth than Brazil are accustomed to. Is this a possession team? A transition team built to free Vinicius Jr. in space? A high-pressing team? Nobody watching that match could answer with confidence. Casemiro's midfield kept losing the ball cheaply in the first half, repeatedly leaving Brazil exposed to counterattacks. Ancelotti substituted him at halftime, but not before a yellow card and being dribbled past 3 separate times. The theory was simple going into this tournament. Feed Vinicius and Rafinha, let them create. Against Morocco, it barely happened. Some credit belongs to Morocco for that, but more of it belongs to a Brazil side that, one match into this World Cup, still does not know exactly what it is. Question 7. Will the African teams keep punching above their weight? Because round 1 belonged to them. Morocco drew with Brazil and were, for long stretches, the better side. DR Congo held Portugal to a draw in their first World Cup appearance in 52 years. Tunisia's tournament fell into chaos off the pitch, but on it, African football announced itself everywhere you looked. Maybe this is small sample size, noise that fades as the tournament wears on. Or maybe the Africa Cup of Nations, played just months before this World Cup, served as a dress rehearsal that left these teams sharper and more battle-tested for tournament chaos than some of the pampered favorites they are now matching. Either way, in round 1, continuity and cohesion outweighed the supposed talent gap, and every team left in this tournament now has to take African opposition seriously in a way that, 4 years ago, far too many did not. Question 8. How does Lionel Messi keep doing this? He has already beaten this sport. There is nothing left for him to win, nothing left for him to prove. He is 38 years old, almost certainly playing in the final World Cup of his career, and on opening night against Algeria, he scored a hat-trick. It was his first ever World Cup hat-trick. He became the only player from Major League Soccer ever to score 3 goals in a single World Cup match. And those 3 goals pulled him level with Miroslav Klose for the most World Cup goals scored by any player in the history of this tournament. But the most important goal, the one that tells you everything about why Argentina can still win this entire competition with an aging, imperfect squad, was the first one. 16 minutes into the match, Argentina had not even entered Algeria's penalty box. The attack looked disconnected, uncertain, exactly like a team that had not quite found its rhythm. Then Messi struck from 25 yards out, and every doubt about this Argentina team disappeared in the time it took that ball to hit the net. That is the paradox of this current Argentina side. They may lean on him more now than they did 4 years ago in Qatar. They no longer need 90 minutes of brilliance from him. They simply need one decisive moment, every so often. And after everything he has done across 6 World Cups, would you genuinely bet against him producing exactly that, one more time, when it matters most? So here is where this tournament actually stands after 1 round. England look liberated, playing without the weight that has crushed them for decades. The United States look genuinely dangerous, not just hopeful. Portugal looks stuck, talented enough to win this tournament, organized badly enough that they might not survive the group. France look like a coin flip, capable of brilliance and dysfunction in the same 90 minutes. Spain look fragile without their 2 young wizards fully fit. Brazil look lost, gifted individuals without a clear identity to hold them together. Africa looks fearless, and every remaining favorite now knows it. And Messi, at 38 years old, in what is almost certainly his final World Cup, looks immortal. 11 questions, 1 round played, and the genuinely beautiful truth is that almost none of them have real answers yet. That is exactly what makes the next round must-watch. This is the stretch of the tournament where these teams stop wondering who they are and start showing us, for real, under real pressure, with elimination finally within sight. So tell me, which of these questions do you want answered most? Is it whether Ronaldo and Portugal can fix what is broken? Is it whether the United States is genuinely for real, as co-hosts, on home soil? Or is it simply whether anyone on earth can stop Lionel Messi one final time? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Subscribe to When Football Speaks if you want World Cup coverage that follows every storyline, not just the highlights. Because football, at this scale, is never just a tournament. It is a moment in time, and we are only just getting started.